And we're live. This is Julien Jean-Pierre from the Royal St. Lucian Seamoss Company, and I am streaming on all different platforms. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. That's right. Your man has got like 5 computers in front of me now. And as usual, I don't really have a specific topic to talk about, but I'm hoping people will come in with their questions and want to join in on the conversation. And we'll take it from there. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. Been doing a lot of work at the health food store. As you can see, I'm here right now at the health food store. This is our health food store called Down to Earth. We purchased this back last year in August, and so I've been working here on the Sunday because no one likes to work Sundays. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And maybe that's some of the things that we'll talk about here until some people come on and start asking questions. It's just like, what does it take? You know what I mean? To really, make it in this business. Like, what, how do you say, what sacrifices, like, do you really need to make? And, that kind of stuff. Like, I think that's a good thing to talk about. If you give me 1 second, I just want to make sure that I'm on these different channels and they're streaming. Put your voice down there, because what I've noticed sometimes is I'll go back to the show. Hey, Shay Ray, thanks. I'm glad that you received your Seamoss. I have to apologize to a lot of people because the reality is that our Seamoss, the last couple of weeks. Sorry for this. I'm trying to make space over there. The last couple of weeks, we've been behind on ordering, like huge, super behind. And so I apologize for that. It's just, the market's getting heated and more heated. More people are getting into Seamoss, and like we literally went from selling, like we probably doubled our sales in the last 2 months. Right. Whereas we were selling maybe 1,500 pounds, 2,000 pounds a month, we're now getting up into the 4,000, 5,000 pound range. And it's getting harder and harder to source all this Seamoss, like basically in a short time frame. You know what I mean? Whereas before, we would have a stockpile of like not 10,000, maybe 4,000 pounds in the warehouse. And we had time to collect Seamoss before the next shipment happens. Now I got an order of 2,000 pounds in April, and before the end of April, I'm ordering another 2,000 pounds. And then, it's not even May, the end of May, right? And I'm ordering another, what I mean? I'm waiting on another shipment, and we just shipped to several other companies, like our warehouse in Atlanta. And, we're just getting a lot of big clients coming in, so it's becoming harder and harder to manage that. And that's some of the things of growing and in a business. When you scale, you got to make sure, what I mean, you have the stuff in place so that you can grow with the growth. And another thing is you don't want to scale too fast. You know what I mean? And then, the sales aren't meeting the infrastructure that you've put in place. I've seen that happen before, and it's not a good sight. Let me see if I can. One thing I've noticed in like Facebook, I don't know, it's like they don't like. We have a group on the Seamoss Buyers Club and on Facebook, and we have a group of like 11,000 people. How is it not that when I do a live stream, I'm not getting more people in the live stream? Like I should have like 1,000 watching. It's pretty weird, to say the least. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm happy that we even have people watching. Especially considering that I start this without a format or a platform. Oh, I think I just did it, because now it just jumped to 20 users. I put add everybody. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that some people in the Buyers Club will want to come in and have a discussion about Seamoss. I'm going to put a link in the chat here, so that if you want to join, you just click the link and you can get into my into the live stream as a guest. And I'm hoping you guys come in and let's ask some questions. You know what I mean? Let's get a good Seamoss conversation going, you know, like we used to. Yes, Vision, Wagwan. Good to see you. Vision is one of the guys from St. Lucia. He's a Seamoss farmer, packer, exporter, you know, badass rapper. You know what I mean? I love his freestyles. You got to send me some more freestyles, you know. And if anything, click the link, bro, and come on and let's talk about Seamoss. You would be a good person to speak about of it, because you know you're right there in the water doing the things. In fact, let me see if I can pull up a picture of what's his name, of Vision. Let me see here. Can I throw? Let me see if I can upload a photo. Hey, what's up, Primo Seamoss? Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Oh no, it won't even let me upload the photo. That's whack. Maybe if I do it like as a video. Oh. I'm dying to go back to St. Lucia, you know. Oh, you're about to eat something. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Where am I doing? For sure, in the future, I got to do what is it? I got to prepare something to talk about. So that won't work. Okay, I think I know what I got to do for the graphics. Here's what I got to do. Now that works. I'll show you some photo of Vision harvesting some bladderwrack in St. Lucia. Although it's not coming up for some reason. These computers, they never do what you want when you want them to. I know what I'll do. Because I can make it happen. Get. Where is he? There it is. Desktop. There we go. Just learning as we go. That's Vision. That's them in St. Lucia with the sack getting getting the bladderwrack. You know. Here, let me, for my Instagram users, you can see that there. So that's them harvesting the bladderwrack in St. Lucia. And so what do you guys feel like talking about today? I mean, what can we talk about when it comes to Seamoss? I mean, I can always show you videos of what we're doing down there, videos of the farms, videos of you know, them drying the Seamoss. Like, actually, yeah, I'll pull up a video of them, the work that we do to you know what I mean, make this all happen. How do I, you know what, I gotta do it a different way. Stand by. Here it is. Take a couple of these videos. upload them so you can see.
My cousin and them, they are by our
Yes, so what are you doing there, guys? Tell me, what are you doing with the Seamoss?
We're washing it. Yeah, we're washing it. Then
You're taking out what?
we're taking out the sea dust. We call that sea dust.
You call that sea dust?
Yeah.
That's all the balance of the seaweeds, all of the things. You're washing it.
Yeah.
Then you bleach it. Now, what you doing there? So, what you looking after that? Seamoss.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, you have to change the water regularly.
Regularly.
Let me see. Let me see the color of your water. You.
White.
Let me see. Push it down.
Very clear.
No,
Crystal clear.
put down the Seamoss. See the Seamoss. Let me see how
Crystal clear.
nice white. Yeah. That's how I want to see. Let me see your color or your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way already
Brown.
because I wash one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see yours. Needs to be
changed.
Need to be changed. Oh, goodness. So you see us, huh? You got a nice
Seamoss, getting them gloss.
Yeah. Yeah. More Seamoss.
Seamoss get them gloss and give them a gloss.
Yes. What you say, baby?
The Seamoss get them gloss and give them a nos.
A gloss.
Yeah.
Gossip a gloss.
Glossy but
You
nos.
get a gloss.
Yeah.
When you push it in.
Yeah, man. Seamoss.
Seamoss.
Produce only on the sea, not on land. So the thing set, so the thing go.
You're done now.
You don't get that on the land, you get that in the sea.
Only in the sea. So not on the land.
So the thing go.
You're done
That's
now.
how we go.
Get them gloss,
Give them
give them a
moss.
gloss,
And give them
and
moss.
give them gloss.
Not so much.
Those guys are jokers. So I got Rayson telling me, he says, "Sir, how can we make business together with Seamoss from St. Lucia?" Honestly, I don't know. Some from Venezuela, because we don't sell Seamoss from Venezuela. You can join the Seamoss Buyers Club and start promoting in there.
Seamoss.
You know,
Bad boy, try.
that's what you could do.
Chan. Seamoss that
Try and
gets
fix
them
up that.
gloss.
Try and fix up.
Yeah.
Try and fix that bit.
Anything else
That
you
gives
record
them,
it. You
yeah.
can listen back to them, write it down and carry it.
Yes, that giving them nice gloss.
Listen.
The only way I'm going to accept any Seamoss other than the Seamoss that we normally get is if you send it to me on consignment. So if you're willing to send me the Seamoss on consignment, I'll take it and I'll sell it. You know what I mean? We'll work out a price and stuff like that. But I'm not getting into any business arrangement with anybody where I have to outlay money to buy their Seamoss. Then it doesn't make sense to me. To me, that's not a business arrangement. That's me buying Seamoss. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well buy the Seamoss from St. Lucia, right? Where I'm from and where our business is from. But if you want me to take on your Seamoss, yeah, send it to me on consignment. Once I sell it, I'll pay you. And that's all I can do, realistically. Hello, what's up from Google? Oh, so let's get back to the video.
For sure.
Hey, boss Seamoss, you ready? All the Seamoss. When you drink Seamoss, it go in your waist. Come here from living cool we race. Me say bookie ka place first place. Link up happy boss Seamoss. Yeah.
If you drink a lot, you make them go.
Yeah, man. Just link up with boss Seamoss. If you
What is that?
learn Seamoss.
Bad boy, try.
Chan. Seamoss that
Try and
gets
fix
them
up that.
gloss.
Try and fix up.
Yeah.
Try and fix that bit.
Anything else
That
you
gives
record
them-
it. You
Yeah.
can listen back to them, write it down and carry it.
Yes, that giving them nice gloss.
Listen.
For true.
For sure.
Hey, boss Seamoss, you ready? All the
Actually, I
Seamoss.
found. I wonder if I still have it back up there.
When you drink Seamoss, it go in your waist.
I found a
Come
document.
here from living cool we race.
Pull it up.
Me say bookie
Talking
ka place
about
first
you
place.
get
Link
them
up
on.
happy boss Seamoss.
And just like
Yeah.
If you drink a lot, you make them go.
Yeah, man. Just link up with Boss Seamoss. If you
I think it was this Aqua Development. Yeah, this was an interesting. Why can't I? Oh, that sucks. I think I'll have to search it. I had a document that I found, and I'm just gonna search for it again, because if I find out, I can find it again. I think it was here. Yeah. So it talked about the aqua development in St. Lucia and in other Caribbean islands. And it's interesting to talk about like what they're working on and stuff. So I'm going to share my screen. Where is it here? Yes, aqua development in the Caribbean. It's a lot of reading. Let's see where to start. I think there's a part on it that goes into St. Lucia. There it is. St. Lucia is situated in the Windward Islands, north of St. Vincent and south of Martinique, at a longitude 61 degrees west and latitude 14 degrees north. It is a volcanic island with a surface area of 610 kilometers squared. The south and central portions are mountainous, with a number of peaks rising over 600 meters, the highest being 959 meters. The northern mountains are lower and less rugged. There are very few lowland plains. The rivers are all small. Interesting. Trade winds blow all year long, but they're especially strong during December to April, with speeds of up to 37 are common in January, February, and winds of up to 65 kilometers are not uncommon. The island has very few protected bays or lagoons. The coast is exposed and subject to heavy wave action. Or the east coast is exposed and is subject to heavy wave action. There are some coral reefs around the island. The shelf is small, and except in channels separating St. Lucia and Martinique in the north and St. Vincent and out, the drop is very steep, below 350 meters. So I wonder when this article was actually prepared, because it's interesting to talk about it. Sorry, I'm just going through all this information. Forget it. That's oh, see, why aren't I seeing these questions now? I think there's something wrong with the I gotta go talk to Restream. For some reason, whenever I have comments on Seamoss Buyers Club, I don't see them, and so there's a whole bunch of questions. I'm gonna send some links here. Hold on, I gotta fix this. whack. So here's some comments that we missed. Derwin says, "Hey, I love Seamoss." OG says, "Hello." Derwin says, "I use Seamoss on my skin, so flawless." Anyone in the States? Kelly's asking, anyone in the States know where to get Seamoss tested, or should we just get this from who we buy our raw Seamoss from? I'll say this. It's not easy for people exporting or Seamoss farmers to be in the position to test the Seamoss. You know, it is an expense, and to be honest, it's like, you know, how are they going to I guess make back their money in a sense? Like, you know, like if I, and then how are they going to accurately test, you know, this programs to send it out, to do all this stuff? It's not something that a lot of like, I don't even think there's a testing facility in St. Lucia to allow these farmers to go and easily get their Seamoss tested, right? I think it should be on the onus of the person importing it to have their Seamoss tested, you know what I mean? And if they're making the products, because the reality is you guys are making the bulk of the money, right? So is it really fair to put it on the Seamoss farmers or the Seamoss exporters to be the ones that have to test the Seamoss and make sure it's good? I don't think that's fair, right? Especially when you want the Seamoss to be the cheapest price that you can get, which to be honest, for me, blows my mind, right? Because the last thing you should be really thinking about, if you're serious about your business, is the actual cost of that product. What you should be focusing on more is the marketing, is the promotion. Okay, there's companies out there that are selling 8 ounces jars of Seamoss for $40, and they're selling, they can't even keep up with their orders. Do you think any of them are asking them where, like, how much their Seamoss costs? And at that rate, do you really care how much you're paying for the Seamoss? The Seamoss is negligible, whether you're paying $14 or $12. You know what I mean? Because you're doing such a volume of the stuff that it's like you know what I mean? The product just, you know what I mean? You're making your margins, you know? And so I find too many people are focused on price and they're not focused on quality and appearance. You know what I mean? Like, we're not the cheapest sellers of Seamoss, but we sell tons of Seamoss. Why? Because our Seamoss has a certain quality. You know what you're getting when you order St. Lucian Seamoss. And to be honest, in the future, like what we're working on, which I can't really get into too much, it's done in such a way that it's kind of like, you're going to know, like, our Seamoss is going to stand out from everybody else's Seamoss. We're just going to have such a high level standard that it's almost kind of be like, once you see that Seamoss, you're like, yes, that's only Royal Seamoss can get that kind of level of quality. You know, we're really sort of doing a lot of research into the science of not only cultivating, but also drying the Seamoss, harvesting the Seamoss, cleaning the Seamoss, grading the Seamoss, and so that we can make sure that the product that we push out is above anybody else's standards, and people will understand why they're paying that price for that product. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to sell Rolls Royces or do you want to sell Kias? Right? Because people that buy Kias care about the price. People that buy Rolls Royces, they expect a certain level of standard. It's not about the price, right? And so running a business, I think that's important thing to consider, you know. Let's see what the comments are saying here. So it says, Allison, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What's the difference between the green, purple, and gold Seamoss? That's a really good question that gets asked a lot. And the main thing that I've learned that is the difference, and this is something not a lot of people really talk about, is the iodine level. So in doing research on other sea mosses, because like when I don't research St. Lucian sea moss, I'm researching sea mosses like kelp, brown algae. I'm looking at different farming practices around the world, different technologies that they're using to ensure that the quality of their sea moss is good. So one of the things I'm starting to realize is that the difference between sun bleached sea moss or seaweeds, and the main difference, and the ones that aren't, is the level of iodine. Now the pigment stuff, sure, that could play a part, but I honestly don't believe that the color purple, like there's enough nutrients in that purple to really sort of justify the fact that this is a benefit. You know what I mean? I think it's more about the level of iodine that's in there, and that's probably what's making it go purple. I think that has something to do with it, with the iodine being in products, that the purple will come out. Maybe that's what's happening, is that when it dries in the dark, the iodine gets released, and that affects the thing. So that's the main thing, is the difference that I know of, is the iodine levels. There probably is some issues with the some added benefits with the colors, but I think it's trace. You know what I mean? And so yeah. So we have a question here. Would you mind sharing more CMOS facts and education on this page? I do. Here's the thing. Most of you guys never check my live streams. You guys never watch them. I drop fucking so much education on CMOS. And the truth is, none of you guys want to hear it. Most of you guys don't want to hear it, because if I'm not preaching Dr. Sabi, if I'm not preaching this and that and wildcrafted CMOS, you know what I mean? That's such a marketing term. If it doesn't come from the rock, it's not the, you know what I mean? You guys don't want to hear it, because you it's almost like, and maybe I shouldn't be negative about this, but I just find that there's a lot of people in this industry that have such a narrow-minded view and are not looking at the overall market and the picture and the reality of what's going on. Do you know what I mean? And they're trying to act as if, I don't know, like do you go to your apple grower and ask them, like, was this picked from the wild? Look, even now when I bring Dr. Sabi, half the viewers left. They were just like, that's not for me. You know what I mean? And that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, don't be upset when the world passes you by, because you're still stuck on 1980s, 1990s technology. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that, as much as I respect Dr. Sabi and stuff, a lot of the things that he's teaching, we've moved on beyond that, especially in CMOS. You know what I mean? But even in in the areas of herbs and stuff. Like, I was talking to a health person and they told me straight up, like, you need acids in your body. Like, how are you going to get pregnant if you don't have acids? You know what I mean? There's this thing called amino acids. You know what I mean? Like, it's the abundance of acids that are the problem. You know what I mean? And the reality is that a lot of people are eating like crap, and that's why you feel like crap. But if you change your diet and you change your way of eating, you know what I mean? You don't have to become 100% alkaline to be healthy. That's a fact. Like, in the health store, I see healthy people come in here every day. And in fact, there was a lady who came in here. She was like 96 or 93 or something ridiculous. Like, when she told me her age, I couldn't believe it. And this girl was so young, and she had simple methods. She didn't drink alcohol. She didn't smoke. You know what I mean? She didn't eat fast food. She did, certain stuff. She kept a high level of calcium and had magnesium, these different nutrients. And that's what keeps you healthy. At least in my opinion. You don't necessarily, in my view, have to go full alkaline, and when you start researching and learning more about sea moss and seaweeds overall, you start understanding that, like, you know what I mean? This industry is so advanced and it's so fast, like, and especially being someone who's a buyer and seller of CMOS, if you don't start learning, like opening up your mind and learning new things, you're going to get left behind. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And if you really want to help people, you need to understand both sides. You can't be objective when you only pay attention to your point of view. See, this is my first time here and I'm already educated. Already I have my own business in it. So it says the purple is stronger to me, but I hear other people say the gold is stronger than them. That is true. Well, not to say stronger. I like the gold every day. I think the purple, the nutrients in some ways are too strong or kind of too powerful, and that it's going to be too hard of your body when you take things long term. You know what I mean? Just because something is strong doesn't make it good for you. You know what I mean? Like, people need to realize that purple could be too strong for you. And then why do we always have this, like, how do I put it? This, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like most people, especially I have it in the store here, they don't want to learn about the different things or why things are. They're just like, what is the best? Is this the best? And it's just like the best of what? Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard to really say, is this the best? You know what I mean? I could tell you it's best, but is it really the best? No one knows. Do you know what I'm saying? This, even with the best Seamoss, no one knows what the best Seamoss is, because the best Seamoss depends on you and what you want. You know what I mean? What you're trying to get out of it. And so if you're not, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things, and that's why some people love Condorus Crispus and some people like Eukinema, because that's the best for them. You know what I mean? So, you know, what is the best? Anyways, yes, Vision, I'm preaching. Yeah. So he says, Lucy says, I'm open to learning more and connecting more, because also because soon it's going to be illegal over here. They're trying to get it banned. It's going to be on the level of weed, watch and see, even bigger to me. It's been almost 3 years, no asthma attack for my daughter because of it. And then La Koya says, I totally understand. Sometimes I don't have time to watch the lives. This is the first time I've had, and I'm grateful for it. Yeah. So here's the thing. Everybody's trying to say that the United States and stuff is trying to ban Seamoss and seaweed. That's not true, right? What they are trying to do, for the most part, is to come up with a certain type of regulation so that people can operate in this space and not hurt people and kill people. Okay? There's a lot of bacteria in the ocean. There's a lot of shit in the sea. You know what I mean? And if we're not careful, you know what I mean, with this product, it can hurt people. It can really make people sick. And I've seen, as a person who handles a lot of Seamoss and deals with a lot of different farmers, not all the farmers are operating, I guess, in good manufacturing practices. Do you know what I mean? Not a lot of farmers are storing their Seamoss correctly. Not a lot of farmers are drying their Seamoss properly. Not a lot of farmers are making sure that there's no, bacteria forming on the Seamoss. A lot of them are, but not all of them are. And I'm talking not in St. Lucia specifically, but in the industry overall. And I'm talking from all types of Seamoss and algae, like kelp, nori, all that kind of stuff, because I'm reading and researching all their practices and all their stuff, and I'm reading about how there are things in the space where, you know, people are not operating, you know, that there's dangers, there's heavy metal dangers, right? There's an issue where there's a conversation about people talking about arsenic and natural arsenic, and is, you know, arsenic good for you? And that, you know, a lot of Seamoss and seaweeds and even shellfish, you know, people didn't realize this, but shellfish contains arsenic. You know what I mean? And so these governments need to sort of, and I mean, even companies, we need to be on the safe side so that we don't hurt people and we don't make them sick, because, you know, there is so much misinformation out there. You know what I mean? Not even people understand fully how to keep their Seamoss or when Seamoss goes bad. You know what I mean? So I could sell Seamoss to someone and, they use it incorrectly because I didn't understand how to correctly, educate them on it, and then they get hurt. These things like could happen, and I think that's why and a lot of governments and stuff like that, a lot of states and stuff, they're realizing that as this industry grows, they need to put safeguards in place to ensure that companies are producing this product ethically and properly and safely. You know what I mean? And I'm all for that. You know what I mean? I'm all for us having, because this will allow the industry to grow. But what I'll say is that this is the time for you as a business person to really ask yourself, like, how serious do I want to get into this industry? Do you know what I mean? Am I all in? Am I going to make this, there's people that have quit their jobs. You know what I mean? There's people that have, made this their only source of income. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're one of those people that wants to make it like that, you need to get really serious and understand what's coming down the pipeline, because and be a part of the change. A lot of people this is one thing that kind of confuses me too. It's like everybody complains about the change coming and the government's doing this. Well, there's nothing stopping you from being a part of this government. There's nothing stopping you from going in there and start, voicing your views or your concerns as as someone, like an advocate or something of what the Seamoss is. I mean, I know that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working so that I'm taking my time so I can understand the industry, so that I know where to assert myself in such a way so that I can help shape policies and programs for stuff. You know what I mean? So guaranteed I'm joining other organizations that are not even have anything to do with my Seamoss specifically, but just Seamoss and seaweeds in general. I'm joining as many groups as I can, and I'm going to be there to put my voice in to say, you know what I mean? I want this, I want that, and thing. And because if I don't, I can't complain about everybody, like how things are changing. Do you know what I mean? It's like everybody's complaining about these changes, but no one wants to get their hands dirty. They all want to sit around and just complain and say, oh, the government is taking our health away. No, you know what I mean? It's not like that. And then additionally, I'm more concerned right now about the major corporations getting involved. And I think they're like literally sniffing. They're onto kelp and they're onto a few other things, but it's only going to come to a matter of time where they're going to start utilizing Garcilaria and Euclidema and stuff like that for their food products and stuff like that. And they're going to turn around and just buy up all the supply. You know what I mean? And make it so that it's very difficult for the average person to just obtain Seamoss. Some people selling and buy Seamoss that's not from the sea, which is very unhealthy. Well, honestly, Vision, there's not too many Seamosses that are being grown out of the sea. That's something that I've spent, like, even today, all afternoon, I was reading on it. I found a website that shows, let me see if I can even pull that up. I found a website that shows all the different places in Europe that have seaweeds or Seamoss operations, and some of them are on land and some of them are on the sea. But what's even interesting is that the ones that are on land, they're not even really shrimping, they're not even really cultivating Garcilaria Euclidema. They're doing a lot of Chondrus and a few other these different Seamosses, different varieties of Seamoss. So let me just see if I can pull that video up. I think it's here. this. No. Another thing I was doing research on is how Seamoss and seaweeds are going to be used for making different products like plastics and stuff like that, which should be really interesting. You know? Kelp farming. Yes, here it is. This is really cool. Let me see if I have that. Share this tab instead. Okay. Let me pull this up. So this is the European atlases of the sea. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. Let's see if I know that's the, how do you say it? That's the main page. Let me see. Maybe it's here. No. Oh, found it. Oh, now I see what the problem was. I was on the page the whole time. There's just this stupid overlay that's on there. Let me see if I can get it off. There we go. So this right here maps all the Seamoss operations or seaweed operations in Europe. And so as you can see, there's a lot of them. So a lot of this is going to be where you're going to find people growing Condorus crispus and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I can click on these little, I guess, little tabs, and they will show you like the different operations. But what sucks, oh, sorry, let me do this, is that where is there a legend? There's a measurement. Zoom in, default view. So in Norway, they have micros, 3 different facilities, and where I pointed. And they do it at sea, and they show you the different species that they're doing. Like even in Iceland, it looks like they're harvesting. They're doing Condorus crispus and these other different species that I can't really name. They're doing it off the land. But some of these, if you read them, they'll say like land base or something. Sorry, they're doing it in the water. Like here, there's a micro algae production facility. They're doing this species, and it's land based. But one thing I've noticed when I was doing all this is that you don't really see a lot of these land-based operations producing Euchaetema. A lot of it is Garcilaria, kelp, and stuff like that. There's manual. And it's interesting to see that they're harvesting this Seamoss, these different species. So it makes me wonder, like, what else? Like, what are they harvesting it for? Who are they harvesting it for? You know? It's interesting. Let's see if we get any questions. Okoye says, buy up all the supplies. So true. Thank you for all your sharing today. Made some very valid points that need to be addressed. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? This is probably the most people that I've gotten on the live stream, like in a long time. You know? And I see some people are making some connections, which I love. You know what I mean? I love seeing that. That's part of what this group was built on, was to have like conversations and connections and for us all to like network with each other to work better. Says though Vision says where is he here? Those are the legitimate. I'm pretty sure there are standards to be kept. Yeah. Thus, those who do it knowingly to authorities unknowingly to keep those the standards. Yeah. So these persons who would have went through the process of getting everything together and make sure their operation not only regulated but somehow safe. Cool. Yeah, man. So let me know if you guys have any more questions or if there's anything else you want me to show you. One of the things I could probably show you is like where we source our Seamoss, where it's grown and stuff. That might be cool to check out. Sounds cool. Actually, let's do that. Let's go Google Earth. Probably do this for like another half hour or so. So this is the airport in St. Lucia, for those that are wondering. This is the beautiful town of Vieux-Fort. This is where my house is in St. Lucia. Pretty cool. Wow, it's interesting to see it laid out like that in that topography style. That's cool. Vieux-Fort Bay. So now I'm going to take you to show you where all the Seamoss farms in St. Lucia are located. And so you could see literally, like, if you look here, there is no like real, especially beyond this road, there's not a lot of like activity in this area. You know what I mean? And so the Seamoss farms generally start around this area just north of the Coconut Bay. All right. Let me see if I can zoom in there, see how close I can get. That's interesting that you can't see the actual farms because they're literally all in here, this area here. See all these kind of grassy and stuff? That's where they kind of start. And so one of the things I learned through my studies of Seamoss and algae is that Seamoss requires nitrogen. I put a post a couple of days ago where I asked people like, what do sea mosses like require to eat? And I was like, and no, it's not rocks, right? And so the sea moss requires nitrogen. That's what it requires to eat. So I just want to read the comments here. Oh, cool. You got the extra dry Seamoss. Actually, warning to everybody. I'll know in the next week or two, but I might have to take that super dry Seamoss off the market because we just can't get it anymore. It's just so hard to get the Seamoss, and the dry stuff that some of these guys had, they've sold it all. So it is, Is there a difference between Jamaican and Seamoss, or are all they all the same? I don't know, to be honest with you. That's kind of a tricky question in the sense that, yes, every ocean is different. And it's like the same the same quality, the same potency, the same taste, the same species, the same what, you know what I mean? I'll start by saying this. I don't believe that the waters are the same. I think that St. Lucia has a unique topography of water. Like just St. Lucia in itself is a unique island. So I think almost, what I mean, and I do believe that the water plays a part in the quality and difference in Seamoss. And so I do believe that the water's different there, not only in the quality of the water, but also in the temperature of the water. Jamaica is a bigger island with a bigger population, which means that there's more pollution in that area just naturally. And I'm not trying to say this to shit on, Jamaican Seamoss. I'm just trying to point out the differences, right? So that's the main thing, is the water quality is definitely different. St. Lucia has volcanic waters and currents from their ocean. See, here's what people don't know and don't realize is that the sea moss's main source of food comes from the runoffs of the ocean, of the land. So there's nitrogen and nitrates that are in the land. They come off the water. Now, if you notice here, this is a water source right here. This is where a lot of the nutrients are coming from for the sea moss that's grown in this area here. And so the water comes out here, it mixes in with the seawater, and it gets distributed all into this region. You know what I mean? So when the water comes out from here, it kind of spreads out all in this little pocket, right? That's where the nutrients get mixed in and the sea moss feeds. That's why the sea moss thrives in all this area. It also, they have sea moss growing here. More water comes off here. This whole area during the rainy season gets flooded. You know what I mean? This is all mangroves and marsh areas and stuff like that. Okay. So this is down Obicon area. And then now here is where a lot of the sea moss farming is going on. It's an area called Savins Bay. Okay. So the two main areas where they're producing sea moss and harvesting it is in this area, and the other area is called Prale. I had some, I could go to sleep. I felt like I was on drugs, 7 Red Bulls. Yeah. Probably too much strong sea moss. So getting back to that question about Jamaican sea moss and stuff, sea moss. Yeah, so St. Lucia has a unique air, type of water, all this stuff coming in here. I think the temperature is different. The water temperatures are probably different, and the level of saltianity, right? But as much as important as the waters, it's also important for the techniques that they use once the sea moss gets out of the water, right? And so that's where it comes tricky, in the sense that it's like, are they the same? Well, if a person in Jamaica utilize the same sort of techniques and practices as someone in St. Lucia to clean, dry, and package their Seamoss, then I would believe that the Seamoss would be pretty much the same or very close to each other, right? So in my view, right, the main things that affect the quality of the Seamoss or the actual Seamoss is the location, the water, the level of saltinity and temperature, and then really the drying and cleaning process, because a lot of nutrients and a lot of contaminants can be entered during that stage more than when it's in the water, right? Do you offer visits to the farm? Sorry, I've asked this question already. I just joined the live. Yes, we do offer visits to the farms, and basically we do a tour. Like, you come down and we will, it's a kind of like a day thing that we do, and you pay our guys for the day, and they take you on a tour of all the Seamoss farms and all the Seamoss locations. And when you see how they're producing the Seamoss, you'll see that, like, there's really no difference between the Seamoss that they're cultivating and the Seamoss that they are diving for. Yeah, meaning the wild Seamoss. It's all the same. You know what I mean? And it's done in the same areas, in the same regions. You know what I mean? And they're dried using the same, like, for the most part, it's really hard to tell the difference between wild caught Seamoss and cultivated Seamoss, especially if they're the same species. Now, there is a species in St. Lucia of wild Seamoss that is different than the stuff that's farmed or dived. It's very rare and it's super hard to find. And when you do get it and you harvest it, it doesn't grow back for like 6 months to 8 months. So, you know what I mean? Even if you did it, it's like, so it's not sustainable. And then at the same time, there's no difference in the quality, because I've had both. You know what I mean? And I can assure you, they're just the same quality Seamoss. So this is Savins Bay. There's a lot of Seamoss growing out of there. I even have a video where we go on this side of the bay to look on the backside here. I wonder why Honeymoon Beach is closed. That's weird. All right, so then they have these different spots here. Not much Seamoss is growing around this area or this area. You know what I mean? You don't really see too much. And then we'll get out into this area. We'll know it when we see it, which is the town of Prale. And this is where you'll see a lot of the Seamoss being produced, which I believe it's here. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me zoom out a bit. Oh, so there's Mikud. So I think there's some areas here where we could be growing Seamoss, but we're not. This is the area that is known for the Seamoss, and that is Prale. And there you see it. You can actually see the farms. You know what I mean? They're all in this area. And I want to give some people a little bit of a perspective as to how much work some of these farmers have to go through to do what they do. Okay? This is the town, right, where most of these farmers live, right? I have a friend that lives up in this area. I don't know if I can put a mark there. No, that's a project. How do I? No. I think it's this. Yeah, add a place mark. So he lives probably up and around like here. Okay. So you see that, right? He lives there, and he has to travel from here all the way down to, let me see if I can get rid of this thing. There. He has to travel from here all the way down here, down here, down here to get to his farm here. Because he doesn't have a boat, and at the time, he has a truck now, but at the time, he didn't have a truck. Do you know what I mean? And so it was all done by foot unless someone had, unless someone helped him out and they had a truck. Do you mean? And there's a lot of women that farm in this area. And the only way they can get there is either by taking a boat from here and going across here, or literally walking by foot all the way there. I'm just answering someone's question. They want to know if we ship. Yes, we do. Sometimes I get talking and I get all over the place. You know what I mean? I wonder what does SXM mean? I'm in SXM. I'm interested. I'm not sure what that means, but so there you have it. Like there's Prale. There's the Seamoss, capital of St. Lucia. It actually doesn't look too big, but it is pretty large when you think about all this. These are all plots. Crazy. I'm like, look at this road. Like, this is the beach where most of these people, you know what I mean, do their farming thing. They have to go all the way up here, go down here, and this is a rugged road, you know what I mean? And when they're carrying the stuff, they're moving, each sack is probably about 60 pounds. They come up here. I think there's a shortcut, they said, where they can cross through here or something like that. Or they can get to here through this forest. But they have to, you know what I mean, go through all this shit here. Like, I have a buddy of mine. He lives, where is he? I think his house is probably, where's the field? I think it's here. I think this is his house right here. Yeah. Because there's a field, a playing field, and he overlooks the playing field. Maybe. No, it's actually probably right in here where his house is. Because I know you go down here and then there's a road you take up. Maybe that's the road. This is a Seamoss farm right here, or a drying area. Looks like it. Yeah, those look like drying tables. Is there someone watching? I'm on TikTok, but TikTok sucks. No one's ever on it. I'm gonna end it. I don't even know why I have it there. Wasting my time. So let's see what questions we're getting. Yeah, so that's the Seamoss industry in St. Lucia for the most part. I mean, there are other regions and areas where they're developing, different farm locations and stuff, but like, yeah, that's pretty. This is it here, and that produces a lot of Seamoss. But you see how clean the water is, you know what I mean? And besides this little area here, there's not a lot of human activity. Mhm. This is a banana plantation right there. There is some farms on the other side of St. Lucia, but they're not that big or popular. I think there's some might be in Labrie here. And I know years ago we helped a guy do one, and I think it was in Black Bay. In this area here. Well, let me know if you guys have any questions about Seamoss and stuff. I know a lot of people don't want to see this stuff because it really goes kind of against their beliefs and stuff like that about, Seamoss being grown on the rocks and this and this and that. But it's like, I'm telling you, when you go down there and you see it firsthand, you get it. You know what I mean? And you realize, you know what I mean? I bet you if there is a difference between Seamoss growing on the rock and Seamoss not, it's like a 2% difference. Do you know what I mean? And it's really, honestly, not worth the damage to the environment over it, because I don't care what anybody says. I've done the research. I've watched it. It does damage. Like, you can't tell me it doesn't. That removing what's normally supposed to be there to control and regulate the environment that provides, it's like clear cutting forests. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that's not going to damage the environment. You're displacing so many people's homes. You know what I mean? So many crabs and lobsters and other marine life require that area to breed and grow fishes and stuff. And so they've done studies where, they put these farms in other countries and areas where there was no marine life suddenly is flourishing. Do you know what I mean? And the reality is it's good for your Seamoss, right? Because when you start building up these environments and the animals start coming in, the marine animals start coming in and stuff, then they start bringing nutrient rich minerals for the Seamoss to feed off. I've been rewatching. I was watching. I was reading one study where they're doing in northern Canada, where they're growing kelp right next to Seamoss fish farms, where they're farming salmon and all that stuff. And before, the salmon, when they were farming it, was killing the environment because of the high level of nitrogen that was being released. Well, they put this kelp in there, and the kelp just sucks it up like a filter. You know what I mean? And we could be doing something similar to that with Eukinema. You know what I mean? Like we could be like saving our planet literally, because not only is the Seamoss good for the marine environment, but if we start becoming more dependent on Seamoss and less dependent on land-based options like fruits, vegetables, animals, and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like animals, especially like cows and beef and stuff like that. That it takes up so much emissions, and CMOS not only removes carbon out of the atmosphere, but it adds oxygen. Do you know what I mean? And so we should be putting more CMOS in the water and not less of it. Right? Like the fact that you want less like you want to take out of what's in the environment to satisfy your belief, because no one has shown me any proof that rock CMOS cultivated in the wild or off a rock has any better nutrients than CMOS that's been cultivated. And the reality is that it hasn't, because I'll say this, let me rephrase this. I believe that there is proof, although I haven't seen it, that shows that there is no difference. And I gauge that mainly because when I look at all these other companies that are out there that are producing the seaweeds or sea mosses for commercial markets, they are doing the stuff in enclosed environments. They're controlling the product and stuff like that, and then they're releasing it in the ocean. But my point is that they wouldn't be doing it this way if they felt that the product was not going to be of a certain high, like if the natural stuff was not as good quality. You know what I mean? These practices and techniques are in place because they work, and that it produces a good quality product. And I think that, like, just because, okay, let's think hypothetically. Okay, let's propose that the sea moss does get more nutrients or a higher concentration of nutrients off a rock. Let's just propose that. Okay, how much more is it really? And is it really worth killing our planet over it? Right? Like, okay, let's say, for example, the wild has 100 billion probiotics, and then the cultivated has 90 billion or 80 billion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it really, like, just eat more sea moss then, if you feel like this one doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, which is not true, but even if you did, just eat more. Like, you don't. Here I'm coming back to the thing where everybody's like, what's the best? I have to have the best. You know what I mean? It's not about what's the best. It's like, what works. Is it really worth having the best sea moss if it meant, at the detriment of the marine life? I think not. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that the cultivated sea moss has no nutrients at all. It has nutrients, right? And I believe it has the same amount as the stuff off the rock. But even if it didn't, it's still not worth getting it just so that you have the satisfaction of saying I have the best. Because that's all it really does. You would not know the difference or tell the difference of the nutrient levels, because, you know what I mean? Like, it's so minimal. Like, it's like the difference between eating like a Granny Smith apple and a Macintosh apple. They're both apples. They both have nutrients. Are you going to take a bite and be like, oh, wait a minute, this thing has 50 milligrams of beta carotene, not 80 milligrams like I'm used to in my Macintosh? Like, no. You know what I mean? And we just need to focus more on just being happy and being healthy, and stop worrying about being the best. Being the best is not all the best. It's not all what it's cracked up to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, would you want to be the best if you knew it was going to hurt your family? You know what I mean? Like, where do we draw the limit? Where do we draw the line? I don't know. That's my take on it. Is that I ain't ever heard of that one, but I trust The Rock more than this crap they're giving us. No, like Lucy, you're wrong. Okay, I'm telling you, like, dude, and this is what it kills me is that everybody's forming an opinion and they've never gone out to look what's going on. The crap that you think that they're feeding you is not like some of that Seamoss is even wild Seamoss that they've cultivated. Like the how do you put it? These countries in Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, there are some that are cultivating it or harvesting it off rocks. It's not the rocks that's making you think that Seamoss is bad or the absence of rocks. It's the process on which they dry and clean and dry the Seamoss. Okay, in some countries, in Asian countries, because they're producing the Seamoss at a commercial level, it's not going to be the same quality or appearance as it is if you bought the Seamoss from St. Lucia, right? And they do like, depending on the Seamoss and where it comes, they might have this thing called there's this thing in the market in the industry called processed Eukinema seaweed. And basically, when they clean the seaweed, they use an alkaloid to help knock down a lot of the bacteria and stuff and make it safe and sanitary, right? And so that sometimes I think might be where a lot of people are finding this chemical smell, like chlorine. First of all, Seamoss can't grow in chlorine. So this idea that we're growing Seamoss in pools and with chlorine in them, and that's how you know it's that's not true, okay? Because Seamoss, like, and in fact, as far as I know, chlorine doesn't even smell. That's ammonia, I believe you're smelling, when you smell that stuff. And that stuff, oh, sorry, Lisa, I didn't know you were talking about the medicine. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, fuck, what was I saying? It's going all over the place. Oh, that was it. Yes, their drying and cleaning processes is really what you are probably seeing and looking at and are not happy with. And that's because some of these companies, when they're purchasing the Seamoss from these harvesters, they are requesting or they want it at a certain moisture rate, which is, there's two standards. There's 10%, which is most of the Seamoss that's coming from the Caribbean. It's all dried to about 10%. And then there's 35%. And that's, a lot of these Asian companies are producing it at 35% because the customers they're selling it to need it for the carrageenan or the agar-agar in the case of Garcilaria. And so they need these nutrients and or these, like, the liquid. And so that's why they sell it like that, Whereas us, we're kind of using it for a different purpose, more for consumption. And in order for it to be, in my opinion, in order for it to be safe for consumption, you need to have, you need to dry it to 10%, Says, I'm sorry, I'm gone. Let you talk completely. And thank you. Okay, Lucy, no problem. And Nicola, you said you wanted to try the green Seamoss. Yeah, man. It's, green Seamoss, I'll tell you one thing, it will make you have a beautiful bowel movement for sure. Mm-hmm. So it's actually 9 o'clock and it's getting late. So I'm probably going to hang out here for another 5 minutes. If you guys want questions or whatever, you know what I mean? We can do that. And actually, give me 1 second. I gotta get a drink. I want to promote something. Sorry about that. I'm back. Check this out. It's called Pure Bliss. And if you notice, it's pink. So what this is, it's coconut water. It's fresh coconut water. It's the only coconut water brand that I know of where it is nothing's taken, nothing's added, nothing's taken away. And it is, it's perishable. It's if frozen, defrost, consume within 24 hours, thaw completely, and shake before drinking. So this is the only coconut water that I've seen on the market where there is no pasteurization. This is just pure coconut water, like nothing else. And it's delicious. And one thing I never knew is that when you have a baby coconut, like a young coconut, the liquid comes pink. The coconut water is pink. And so that's why this thing is pink, because they harvest fresh young coconuts. And it's so refreshing, so nutrients, you know what I mean? It's great. So let me know again, like as I was saying, what the hell is this? Send comments? What the hell is this? There's some new thing to, that's weird. So Facebook's got something where it lets me put like you can send people stars or something so you can comment. That's interesting. Never seen that before, but whatever. Yeah, so gonna eat some of my Persian dinner. Which is kebab. And this thing is badass. It's like this rice puff pastry. I think in the future we're gonna have to do some live streams where I invite different farmers and stuff from the industry. I really want to, like, you know, give people access or show them what's kind of like really going on in the market versus what is promoted or marketed. Messaging some people. No, Lucy, I am not vegan. I am a proud meat eater. And interesting that I had a conversation. One of the things I love about working in this health food store is that I have lots of conversations with people who have done, like, that are fanatics about health and about studying and learning health and stuff like that. That's on my lip. And so he told me to check out Thomas Delaware, Autumn Bates, and Dr. Berg. And so these are people that are doing various like research and studies on health and stuff. And so one of the things he told me about, because he was on this thing called the keto diet, which is like, I think it's like an all meat diet and stuff. And you don't have like rice and grains and stuff like that. And so one of the things he mentioned is that being on a vegan diet is not really beneficial to us because we're not plant-based eaters. we're herbivores, so we eat some plants and we eat some meats because for the proteins and stuff like that. And he brought up an interesting point where he said many of the fruits that we eat or consume in vegetables, they have a chemical in it called lysine or something like that. And he said this is something that the plants put in them so that they don't get eaten, right? So to protect themselves, so animals don't eat them and this and that. And so he says that we suffer from a lot of inflammation due to the fact that we're eating these vegetables with these chemicals in it that are eventually hurting us because they're trying to the animal's trying to defend itself. And so that we need to make sure that we have a certain amount of meat in our diet to help, make sure that we have enough proteins and that we don't get sick from, having all these, this acid that's produced by the plant. Now, I don't know how real that is or true. Like I said, he gave me the names to go study. So I plan to do that. But I have heard something similar about certain plants will have things in them that will protect them from their predators. So who knows? You know what I mean? It could really, eating just only plants could be very unhealthy for you. Well, that being said, doesn't seem like there's a lot of people want to ask questions and stuff. And so I got to kind of close up the store. I got the girls coming in tomorrow, and they like to have the store back the way they normally have it. When on the weekend, I change it the way I like it. So I got to make sure I have some time to do that. And yeah, but I think we're going to start doing this maybe on the last week of every month. This last Sunday of every month, I'll do a live stream. And next month, I'll announce it, I'll plan it, and I'll have some guest speakers to come on and speak. And, I really encourage people to really sort of connect with me on these live streams and sort of contribute and share information with all us, In fact, maybe I had a guy named Calvin on before. And he's all on this rock-based Seamoss, and me and him are always having battles against like Seamoss information and shit like that because he's always trying to shit on St. Lucian Seamoss, and I'm a proud Lucian, and I ain't having anybody talk about shit about my country. That's just how it's. That's just a fact, right? Sorry, this just banging from the next door. It's weird. It's like they're banging a basketball against the wall or something. Well, all right. I'm going to get going. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. And those that contributed, thank you for contributing. My name is Julien Jean-Pierre. If you guys haven't met me, I am one half of the Royal St. Lucian Seamoss Company. That's a Seamoss company in St. Lucia that we sell and export all over the world. We just passed 3. Right. So we've been doing this for 3 years now. That's crazy. 3 years that I've been doing this. And like so much has changed and so much has grown. And you know what I mean? Oh, wow. I think one day I'll do an episode where I'll just like go through all my old photos and videos and tell stories about how I first got into Seamoss and all the shit that we did and like stuff that we got into and all crazy. Like I remember one time we went somewhere and we weren't planning to buy Seamoss and we ended up buying Seamoss and we had the car, we didn't have the truck, so we had to pack like all this Seamoss into the car, and it was like it was like no room to fit anything. And we, you know what I mean? It was like one of those things where we were like, should we bring the car? Just fuck it, we'll bring the car. And then we were just like, oh, what are we gonna do now? We just bought all the oh my gosh, the days. Yeah. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. All right. Don't forget to take your Seamoss. And I'm out.